Hey, True Believers England team here, and wow, forgot to that I wasn't on screen yet. Okay, so it was something, the strange and toxic world of American comic book YouTube commentators, and they talk about all the toxic stuff. I used to be in Contenda. So hello and how do you do to everybody? I'm kind of feeling like a Bugs Bunny. I'm going to go over this and we're going to talk about it. And yes, I've got a bird on my head. I let Twiddles out so he could fly around because usually he's quieter when he's out than when he's in his cage. But that has not been the case. So we'll see how that goes. If he continues this, I'm just going to lock him out of the room. Anywho, for those of you who say, hey, what's all that noise in the background? Who's got the bird? That's me. This is Twiddles. And most of us are pretty much used to him by now. So I hope you like it. Did you boy? We're going to go over this. So, yeah, this was DM'd to me. And this guy apparently just watched a whole bunch of YouTubers, and we're going to talk about it here. He says, for the last 2 years, I've been doing a deep dive into comic book related YouTube channels. I generally try to avoid such obsessive comic fandoms like the plague, but I sacrifice many of my brain cells and my sense of logic to power through this cesspool so you don't have to. What do you really believe that this person has been watching? Like at one point he says, you know what, I'm going to do this for 2 years. I'm going to be watching all of the freaking YouTube channels that I don't. Bull crap. I'm calling BS from the very beginning. Seriously. I am. I'm sorry, but no, you didn't. You noticed, look, there's been these people you don't like. So you're going to make a video. And then you decide, okay, these are the worst of the worst, right? So he says for the last 2 years, he says, I generally try to, okay, where do we go? Okay. But I sacrifice many of my brain cells and my sense of logic to power through this cesspool. A cesspool, mind you. And he says, here are examples of some of the trolls you will find on YouTube hiding under bridges made of old comic book boxes. And the first one out of the gate is Comics by Perch. Honestly, Comics by Perch? You know what? For a while, I literally thought that he was using the Google voice. How are you going to say Comics by Perch is toxic? I'm sorry. You must only mean he has a difference of opinion. Comics by Perch is so mellow, like middle of the road. You can use him as ASMR to help people nap if you needed to. This guy is not, it's, you know what? We got to bring up Comicsgate again, okay? I'm not talking about, hey, let's write a comic book and get it out there. Thanks for the name, guys. Comicsgate that's going on now. I'm talking the ones that went out and actually said, hey, guys, you're doing this wrong. So he says, Perch is not this YouTuber's real. No, okay. Indeed, most of these comic tubers hide behind a pseudonym. Yeah, that's what a lot of people do. Seriously. He's acting like this is something new. Like Lady Hawk was actually like Lady Hawk's mom decided, you know what? I saw myself a really cool Richard Donner movie today, and I want my child named after that. It's come on, seriously. I'm just the stupidity of putting Comics Perch. Now he's not saying let's start with because he's the worst, but Comics by Perch in a cesspool. Holy, you know, like when we started Comicsgate, there were people like accusing others of murder. Seriously. We had somebody who literally acted like they were a female reporter to get news on us. Milo freaking Yiannopoulos did news on us. And you're going to say Comics by Perch? Holy crap. It's like somebody saying rice cakes is bad for you. Perch is I like Perch's channel. Don't get me wrong. I think he's very informative, but I think he's the person that you go to when you're tired of the toxic stuff. He's always intelligent. He's always very articulate. He doesn't seem to explode. I don't know what that's like. You know, he seems very down to earth. And this, I'm telling you, I'm calling bull crap for right from the beginning, because it's just, you cannot say that this is vile. Maybe he disagrees with you. So anyway, corporate comics purchase a wannabe Tucker Carlson who speaks with false gravitas, creepy nerd dad authority. Why do you think it's false? What proof do you have? Like if he says, okay, these are the reasons why it's false gravitas. Creepy nerd dad authority, they would have called this dude a square in the 1950s. Then how? All right. He has actually said such things as that Disney should take advantage of cheap labor in Japan and make manga with all of their intellectual property. Like, guess what, guys? Disney is already taking advantage of cheap labor in Florida. They definitely don't need to freaking export that skill. His talking ports are beyond dull. How is, okay, maybe I've got the wrong definition of toxic. Because if you put dull, I'm sorry, you know, they're like listening to lame old man lecture kids he sees on the streets about not smoking pot. Plus, Perch always takes the corporation and HR's side. I actually think what he's doing is, or at least this is my take on it. What Perch may tell you different, but it seems to me like he's always he'll hear somebody like me complain about something. And he'll go, well, actually, maybe you don't know the whole story. Maybe you should take a look on this, because he's owned a comic book shop and he knows the business side. Like, and here's the thing. I'll fully admit my relationship with comic books is as a reader. So a lot of what I have to say or complain about or talk about as far as comics are concerned comes from a reader's perspective, because that's the only one I have. So I don't really, even though I know it's a topic and occasionally I might report on it because, you know, hypocrisy, I don't give a crap about the sales figures because I'm not seeing any of that money. I care about what's happening on the page with the stories. What are you doing, you little, anyway. And by the way, hello to Hillam. So they hate comic stores, right? LK saying, and I'm surprised that he didn't mention NERDROTIC. Seriously, if you're not mentioning NERDROTIC or games, I don't know. I literally have heard about this. And when I see about an article, a lot of times like this time, I'll start it up and you guys are literally getting my first reaction to this. I have not read any of this before. So we'll see. Let's see. For him, freedom of speech means nothing if your speech goes against the corporate brand. Really? Has he forced anybody to shut up? Silly artist, you deserve to be poor for having an opinion. I guess this dork once wrote some subpar articles for a website called Bleeding Fool, so that makes him an expert on the entire comic book industry. What makes this guy an expert? Who is this? I don't know. Let's see. Where do we go? Okay. It's easy to see Perch as just a transparent corporate shill. He is yet another hanger-on with nothing better to do than make hundreds of YouTube videos gushing over manga sales and complaining about the low sales of comic books made for adult children. Okay. Yeah, that seems like a good way to make a living. Let's talk about the Den of Thieves called Thinking Critical. The name alone makes me laugh. I literally myself have been called a freaking racist by a comic book writer who has never freaking met me. I have been blocked by everybody on the freaking, I can't read or look at any text by damn near any comic book creator. I've gotten into arguments with Snyder, with Ron Lim, with I am actually blocked personally by Kurt Busiek and Eric Larson. Of course, I said Eric Larson draws the Savage Dragon wife to look like a pedophile victim. So he wasn't happy with me at the time. And you're going after Wes? The only person who is nicer and soft-spoken than Wes is Perch. Okay, thinking critical is where mid-level or washed-up comic creators go to complain about the industry they have little to no stake in. Wait, are you talking about like what was that? Joe, what's his name? Crying about how woke people are the cause of all their failures. No, woke people are the cause of comic book failures of the industry. They're the cause of people just not being interested anymore. People don't want to be lectured to when they go to their means of escapes from being lectured to, you jackass. Come on. Think. This is, I use this term, and please, by all means, take it away if you want. It's Dixie Cup deep. For those of you who don't know, Dixie Cups are about that big. And it's somebody who looks and goes, well, they're doing this because of this. That adversity jackass does that a lot. Well, you know, the only reason why they do that is because of this cause I'm not even going to look into. It's freaking ridiculous. Okay. So it says not their mediocre art or derivative stories. Have you seen Marvel and DC? It's all opinion-based ramblings under the guise of we're opinion-based people. YouTube is opinion-based as far as this. Look, I take an article. Hey, here's my opinion on what they're saying. What the freaking what a nut bar. What? Okay, anyway, let's go. Most of the dorks on this stupid channel, by the way, one of those dorks jackasses is one of my best friends, all right? Eric goes on that channel, so yourself. Skate the line of Comics Gate adjacent. Wes, the host of his train wreck, does the long live streams with multiple mouth breathers, having angry nerds speak into dollar store microphones. This costs $100, dude. Come on. And by the way, yeah, you could start a YouTube channel with a $40 snowball. That's what I did. As a matter of fact, most of my more popular videos were recorded on that piece of crap. But right here, it actually seems like he's going after them because they're not rich. Oh, you don't have a professional setup. Okay, so you don't have a freaking opinion? Get the hell out of here. I think this Christian Crusader ex-CIA, really? Is he ex-CIA? I don't know. I never heard him say anything about that. Let's see. Where are we going? Hack is a host is hoarding buckets of creamed corn. Do you have evidence on this? And watching countless hours of Fox in his downtime. Frankly, yeah, right there. I'm sorry. All credibility lost. Please show your work. It works like this. Oh my gosh. The writer of this article, while fucking his own mother, likes to eat a goat's ass. See, I don't have any proof of that, nor do you have any proof about the cream corn. Anyway, shockingly, Wes recently regaled us with a story about going to see a recent Star Wars movie with his family. He said within the first few minutes of said film, he was fuming and raging so hard his wife had to take their son out of the theater. This blows my mind. What the F? Who does this? Did his spouse and child just wait in the lobby while he finished the movie? I haven't seen that video. Maybe, just maybe, it was hyperbole. You never know. Hello to Yellow Spider-Man. Ahsoka, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, woke people are just not good for any industry. None. Tehillim is saying so he doesn't expect comic stores to make business decisions to get comics direct to the public. Apparently not, I am going to say. I don't think I made this list, Yellow Spider-Man. I don't know. The only opinions you should have is the current garbage in comics is totally fine. That's something, occasionally I go after this guy. He does these stupid videos, Adversity in Comics. I think they call themselves actual fans now. He hit Nerdette a couple of times, and that kind of pissed me off. Nerdette and I, we don't agree on much, but we're friends, And if you have a difference of opinion, that's cool. But you're pretty much a shitball if you're saying, well, this person over here is doing because of his opinion. Go yourself. Think 5 seconds and then bring it back. Oy vey. Let's see. Where are we going? Imagine being so self-absorbed you can't sit through a crappy movie with your kid. See, there's more to that story you have no freaking clue on. This is the kind of toxic fandom that scares me the most, really. It worries me to no end to think someone could care this much about a piece of random corporate pop culture trash. What's his name? Starts with, I think it's Charlie something or other. Listen to the Beatles, ended up murdering a whole bunch of people. That's toxic fandom. Or what's his name that actually shot John Lennon? Heard a song, thought that John Lennon was asking somebody to come and shoot me. I mean, in the song Revolution, dun, 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 shoot me. You know, and that's Come Together, right? Hey, come on, flat top, that one. He actually listened to it and thought John Lennon was asking somebody to. That's toxic fandom. Looking at the way comic books are going and say, hey, guys, you're doing wrong isn't toxic. Watching the characters you love just being written to the point where they're not the characters anymore. That is not toxic. That's caring about the characters. Actually, if you want, I'll go the opposite direction. Saying that you love the characters, but not caring the fact that the writers are not even really getting the core of the character properly, and still saying it's okay, that is toxic fandom. That is not giving enough of a shit. Wes isn't CIA. This article writer is a fraud. All I know about Wes is that he's an expat living in the Philippines. He was ex-military. Okay. He landed 11. Oh, okay. Wow. Woo. I'm on the list. Not even the top 10. Well, you know what? I've been doing comic book Jeopardy. Yellow Spider-Man. Go figure. And I haven't been doing this kind of stuff nearly enough. Let's see. But Perch in it might be a countdown. Maybe that's what's going on, because these are nice guys. It'd be like if Captain Frugal was anywhere on this list. Captain Frugal doesn't believe in wokeism or anything, but he's the nicest freaking guy you could ever meet. Have you ever heard of Clownfish TV? Actually, Clownfish TV got me to stop doing my Disney. Not really. I can't say that. But they're really good about following the Disney stuff. I highly recommend Clownfish TV. I'm sure they've got a gajillion subs, so you probably have heard of them. But I really do like their Disney stuff. As a guy I've worked at Disney, I've worked at all the theme parks down here. I live right around the corner. I used to go a lot, but Bob Chapek just kind of screwed things up. But they're really good on the Disney stuff. I would have gone with Pigfish, but Clownworks too. Gee damn, do I hate this freaking channel? I can't stand this douchey cuckold. Okay, do you know what a cuckolding is? And a screeching harpy of a wife co-host. So when you're insulting this much, you'll lose. You know, and in my opinion, you lose. The channel treats popular nerd culture like feeding trough of dirty laundry. The best thing about Clown Pigs is when an infantile fangirl works herself up into a frenzy over some dumb reboot of a mediocre 1980s cartoon made for children. She starts breathing heavily for like 5 minutes after the rants, and she literally sounds like a squealing sow. Holy crap. Seriously. That's the worst thing about this. I mean, if you've got something to say, if you have an opinion, and I've said this many times, if you disagree, come on. But when you're insulting people like this, seriously, no respect. I mean, I'm not talking about the no respect he's showing the young lady who runs Clownfish. And she does squeal when she gets excited. That's fine. I'm saying it's like these people, you know, you say you don't, I didn't like Ironheart being in Iron Man comics. I said that I think she should have her own identity, which she did, but she should have also have had her own title. So dumbasses like this, and I have proof of him being a dumbass because of this article, would go, well, you just hate black people. Wait, I just gave you the freaking reason. You're making up to argue about. Okay. Her rude and off-putting husband exists only to please his soulless ginger queen. Now, I'm hoping that soulless is just the only insult. Really, you have to go and, oh, because she's got red hair, she's somehow less? You bigot. He curses at fans and drools over any bad news he could find on Forbes about the comic book industry. Somehow, though, these two obsessed adult children made Kevin Smith cry over He-Man. What the F, dude? Kevin Smith cries over a stub toe. He needs to stop smoking pot, if you ask me. I think it's affecting him emotionally. Let's see. Lady Hawk saying Clownfish TV is going gangbusters on the new Star Wars hotel. That looks like, I was so excited. Like, I saw all when you go into one section at Hollywood Studios, all it is old models and concept art of the parks and everything. And for a while they had, this is going to be Galaxy's Edge. And actually the model and what they have is pretty close and it looks pretty cool. But they also had, and this is going to be the Star Cruiser. And when I saw the concept art for it, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. This is freaking amazing. And my gosh, what I've seen so far is so bad. I want to personally say piss off to both of these nerd culture bottom feeding trash heaps. Why? You haven't said anything of substance here, has he? I've noticed Wes and Perch use Clownfish TV as a source. That's one thing I don't like to do. And I'm not saying anything about Perch. What I don't like to do is, like, if Bleeding Fool or what's the other one? Bounding Into Comics. If they do something, I like to find the original article, because look, if you want to know what they said, you could go over there. You're looking, so I want to read it for myself so it doesn't go through a prism. So if I can, I'll do that. So let's see. I have noticed Wes and Perch use them as a source a lot, which creates cyclical nature. Exactly. But that's one thing I do agree with. You always have to go to the original article whenever you can, unless, of course, the original article is Clownfish. Okay, so how is fandom not done with Yaz Queen from Comics Matter? Comics Matter. Oh, you boy. Okay, I know him as Richard or Diversity in Comics. I keep forgetting that he changed his name. Let's see. I guess this channel is for right-wing ex-military brohams who love comic books. Richard C. Meyer or you, dude, your boy Zach. I actually have never referred to him as your boy Zach. So actually that did kind of confuse me for a while. I'm like, Comics Matter. I know that one. Yeah. He made a Milquetoast Expendables comic. Yeah, for him. Yes. Yay for him. Did you? Think about that. Think about what Richard did with this one. Think about just for a second. Richard is a freaking YouTuber who ended up making a deal with Sylvester Stallone to do an expendable con. Think about that just for a second. Okay, of course he used used his popularity to get a freaking comic book made off of, and that's awesome in itself. But then on that same freaking popularity, he got together. I don't know if it was like, hey Sly, yo, what's up, Zach? But it might have been Zach, but might have been Sly's people. He got that shit done. So yes, yay for freaking him. Bird, I'm going to put you out in just a second. Cool, dude. You made money on a comic book based on a franchise and Hollywood ran into the ground. So did Marvel, you jackass. Many, many times. So did it damn near. I mean, look, what is it? IDW still does it. This isn't something that he created. Like it's, oh, I'm going to be so pathetic that I'm going to write a comic book based on a movie franchise that's not done, that's not still going. Holy shit, Ghostbusters, Big Trouble in Little China, Bubba Hotep, Escape from New York. Are you going to cheap it? Everything I say? Seriously? Anyway, what a fucking dumbass this guy is. Well, he's going after the things that, Jesus, Lord in hell. I'm only assuming. I am now doing what he does. I'm assuming he talks like that. I mean, he made a deal with a big person and it's hard to get a Exactly. This is something. This is freaking something to be good about. Yes, yay, Zach, or Richard, or Diversity in Comics. He's got to freaking pick a name. Alrighty, this raging tool obsesses over something called an SJW. That's a social justice warrior. Now, here's the thing. Let's explain something to you, especially if you disagree with me and you're still here. A lot of leftists have kind of embraced social justice warrior and said, well, what's wrong with fighting for social justice? Nothing. You know what? You know who fights against social justice? Nobody, you jackass. You're an idiot. What we mean there, kids, are people now where they're called woke, because all they freaking care about is the race of a person. It's like, I'm going to go back to him, the guy that I talk about. I don't even know his freaking name. If you know what, never mind. I'm not, I'm good. I'm going to move on. But my point was going to be that if you truly believe, as I've seen them say, I've seen SJW say, I've seen this guy say, if you truly believe that someone like, say, my friend Mr. E, he's a conservative. If you believe that he has wrong think, then you believe that all black people should be thinking alike, which means that your friend that's on your channel that you're talking to is a token. It doesn't matter which black person comes in if they're all supposed to think alike. Jesus, Lord in heaven. And this is what's going on. That's an SJW. That's a woke person who focuses on race before anything else. All righty. So let's see. There are new scapegoats for these, for everything these dumb nerds don't like about their boring lives and mundane fandom. Always ready to call out comic creators by name. Zach, a.k.a. Richard Meyer, also hides behind a pseudonym. Most people do. Most people don't act like it's a new thing, you jackass. The funniest thing about Angry Zach has nothing to do with his dopey 1990s style comic books. He has another channel where he doles out bad finance. Really? I didn't know that. Whack Ass Zach, which, by the way, should be the name of his next channel, is constantly losing tons of money on it. I hear him say he lost $6,000 of comic fan money in one day, and then try to spin it as being part of the market makes me giggle like a Japanese schoolgirl. Well, that's racist. You could be better off getting your financial advice from an Adderall addicted 19-year-old. Oh, wow. You know what? Now you're making fun of somebody's drug addiction. This guy's a douche. Okay, Comic Artist Pro. Let's go after Ethan Van Sciver for a while. He is still doing as I pretend to make boring fraud comments and behave like an obsequious troll, but I'm a really nice guy shtick. I guess his right-wing blather and magic Mormon is Ethan a Mormon? Make it okay for him to spread hate speech and use Nazi imagery in his sketchbook covers. This is the dumbest freaking thing in the world, by the way. He related Sinestro to Hitler. Sinestro is a villain. You ignorant asshat. You ignorant freaking asshat. Seriously, go yourself. Oh, you can't compare villains to Nazis, especially ones that destroy worlds, you motherfucker. You're a bad guy. EVS has built an army of white-collar trolls plus a bunch of fake accounts he uses to pounce on anyone online for any and all transgressions made against their new Mormon king. He's more. I did not know that. Nice of him to give all these failed realtors a place to complain about the comic book. Well, yes, that's very nice. Thank you, Ethan. I'm not one of them, but for all the people who you have helped create their comic books and get their comic books out to the public, thank you. Zach and Ethan have both had massive crowdsourced comic campaigns. They have both collected the cash and not delivered the books. There are videos popping up of their fans asking where the comic books are after years of waiting. And if that is true, I do believe that they are in the wrong on that one. Of course, they got to get the books out. Let's see. I guess it's hard to find the time to make your crappy and derivative comics if you spend 8 hours a day doing live streams about the new Star Wars thing you hate this week. Sinestro is literally what some people would describe as a very evil. Yeah, he's Space Hitler. Why not? Why not? Ethan was raised Mormon as a kid, but isn't it as an adult, says Yellow Spider-Man, as he fits the definition of what people would say about the right. Oh, I thought the writer was going on about Ethan's signature on the book. I actually didn't know. I had an autographed copy of a book. I didn't even know it was Ethan's. Once I didn't recognize that as a sig. It looked like a drawing on the cover. Yeah. Okay, Yellow Flash, we're up to you. Oh, Yellow Spider-Man too. Okay. Yellow Flash, by the way, Yellow Flash is freaking incredibly successful now. I do have a story. I'm sure some of you guys told that I was sleeping and my phone woke me up because it was on my desk every 3 seconds. So I wake up to find, are you seeing what Yellow Flash is saying about you on YouTube? I was like, what? I don't know. So I get online and Comics Division and Captain Frugal join me. We're like listening in. It's some of the funniest freaking shit. Yellow Flash was drunk off his ass, and it was him, and it was what's the fat guy's name? The fat guy. He was supposed to do a comic book with Tim. The freaking hell was his name? And I don't believe, maybe it was Umbrella, or it was what's his name, the country guy with a great freaking head of hair. Anyway, they were just going off. He was going off on me. Just, oh, I want to get, and he was just yelling and screaming. Some of the funniest freaking stuff I heard was that night, Yellow Flash being drunk. Okay, so you can't insult me, by the way. Umbrella, yeah, the Umbrella guy or whatever his name. Yeah. Cecil, thank you, Cecil. It's been a while since I've even kind of associated with that group. But yes, by the way, I love a good insult. All I ask, since you can't offend me, be funny. And they were funny, and that's awesome. These videos genuinely disturb me. Yellow Trash sounds like a creeper Sunday school teacher. The one with no kids but really loves children. His Jeff Foxworthy redneck drawl and calm tent preacher style of delivery weirds me the F out. Zach, Ethan Skiver, Yellow Trash, and the rest of the crowdfunding cult of right-wing comics are obsessed with forcing their political agendas into the medium and industry. Yet they are all just as guilty as the people they complain about and hate on. They all rail against cancel culture, but had no problem taking full advantage of it, such as when they pushed to have Eric Esquivel fired from DC. Then this is not a point that you should make. Okay, if one is okay with doing it and you're okay with doing it, then stop freaking complaining about each other. But you bringing that up makes you just as hypocritical as you're saying they are. If anything, why they don't call EVS out all the time is taking him to come out with Rainbow the Brute. Well, I've got a board of videos I need to make, so I am not commenting on anybody being late. Let's see. Ultimately, these Comicsgate dorks are no different than their SJW arch enemies and many other online blowhards. One of the things that people got mad at me when I was in the Comicsgate, before it became Ethan's show, one of the things that people got mad at me was I did actually call this kind of thing out. And I would say it basically, you don't want to be the opposite side of the same coin. You know, if we're doing the same thing as them, but for our politics, then aren't we wrong as well? So I do agree that you shouldn't become the same social justice warrior, cancel culture freak. But here's the thing, and this is something they really need to know, because I see it happening in politics. I see it happening in life with a lot of stuff. We call it out and we say, no, 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 you shouldn't cancel because of this. You shouldn't cancel because of that. Don't do this. This is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. But it keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going to the point where it becomes the rule of behavior. And that, I think, is what happened. Right now, the rule of behavior is you act up, you're out. That's what they set up. That's what the woke have set up. So if Ethan, if Zach, if Yellow Flash says, hey, you know what? You did this to people for far less than what Eric Esquivel did, so you should make him live by the same rules that you have everybody else live by. We started off by saying, no, that shouldn't be the rule. You made it the rule. and it's hard to take me serious with a freaking lovebird on the top of my head, but give it the old college try. Okay, it says, I now look at Ethan and Zach like I would any other internet lol cow. They are clowns to be laughed at. You can't take buffoons like this seriously. If you poop on my head, you're over, bird. They should be viewed and treated like any other turd online like Chris Chan. Plus, a lot of these idiots like to dress up in costumes and do really? Live streams while begging for super chat donations. Does that help? Seriously? Like if I put on a freaking costume, would that actually help? Because I could use some. Alrighty, let's see. They're dancing clowns on a street corner with their pockets. Do y'all want me to dance like a clown on a street for super chat? I will use these. I need the super chats, kids. Let's see. How could people treat any of these dummies seriously when they are dressed like Uncle Sam or their favorite superhero? Because we're comic book channels, you jackass, and we embrace the geekdom. We embrace the nerdum. I've been a comic book reader now for fucking 50 years. Well, no, I'm sorry. 40, it's been 46 years. So go yourself. Yes. You know what? I, as well as a lot of the people who listen here, have been through the point where we had to hide the fact that we were nerds or we were made fun of because we were nerds. And those of you, those younger kids who are now A-OK and you're just skirting through life because all of the stuff that we loved and we were like saying, hey, you should check this out, only to get freaking ridiculed for it. You're freaking welcome that we kept that shit alive for them to make the Dark Knight and the Iron Man movie. You're fucking welcome for what's going on right now. Jesus freaking Christ, this guy's a jackass of the freak. He should go professional with it. Okay, so no, well, now they're doing Forced Adversity, the guy that I usually go after. Oh, by the way, here's the thing. A lot of channels would be telling you, don't go after these people. You're fucking adults. You know better. So I have no freaking control over you. So I have nothing to say on that. Alrighty, Forced Adversity, recently rebranded to Actual Fandom, is another channel obsessed with pushing politics where it does not belong. This dork is on the other end of the idiotic political spectrum. This soy boy host and his cohorts are proud betas. Now we're speaking the same language. As if it were a good thing. They praise mainstream comics, but you can hear it as totally forced. Thank you. You could hear the struggle in their voices when they have to talk themselves into defending the terrible art and stories of corporate comics just because they hate Ethan and his pals. This channel is more of the same political driven drivel as the right wingers, but only with lefty talking points. Guess what? I can't stand any of you on either side of this extreme political spectrum. The cults of extreme political right and left in comics are all brainwashed and reactionary clones who merely spew spoon-fed talking points to each other on Twitter and other social media. To watch these morons push their dumb politics into comic book industry makes me genuinely sick. And thank you very much to Zach, who is actually, whoops, I hit the wrong one, who is actually giving me $5 not to dance. Well, you guys lost because I was about to do the truffle shuffle as it has been requested many, many times, but I just got paid not to do it. All righty. Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Yellow Flash. Wow, I have just screwed myself up here. Where's it going? Where's it going? Okay. Are you good? Are you good up there? Okay. Oh, shush. Let's see. Hush, boy. Seriously. Where are we now? Okay. Nothing like his internet psycho brother, sweet boy Noah Van Sciver, also has a YouTube channel. Yippee. Not happy with just boring comics fans with tales of his first world white guy angst in his comics. Are you okay? Can you shut up now? Thank you. Oh, okay. Noah's channel is just... You need to be quiet. Okay. Noah's channel is just a Fantagraphics ad space. It is a commercial for the sad white folks comics they are all so fond of. Okay, now are you using white as a pejorative, you racist ass hat? And what comic books are only for white people? Dumbass. The comic book world truly needs to hear college textbook editor Ivan Brunetti wax on about how boring the comic books can be. Wow, you know what? Yes, actually, it would be kind of nice to hear other, I don't know. One good thing about Noah is he is genuinely sweet guy who loves comics. At least he is not intolerable internet psycho like his stupid brother. Sadly, though, without comic books, Noah and the rest of his pal would just be a bunch of failed baristas who sit around. But that makes no sense. It's a comic book YouTube channel, you jackass. Of course. Well, if comic books didn't exist, he'd be doing something else. Or, God, this guy's a moron. Finally, we have little Eddie and Jimmy over at cartoonist K. Fabi, aka Cancel Culture. K. Fabi, who swipe ideas from smaller YouTube channels and fellow creators for their dopey videos and boring comics. Those two corporate simps probably have to squeegee their cronies after they do a gushing interview. Red Room, more like HR Boardroom. I don't get that one. Just like their friend Jack Kirby fan artist Tom Scioli, old Eddie Piss Score carries on the tradition to Stan Lee by swiping. Okay, blah, 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 blah. In conclusion, well, as you can see in the world of comic scene, commentators are on YouTube. Seeing commentators on YouTube, the bar for humanity is set real. Okay, there you go. These channels and hundreds more like them do a good job of making you think that the comic book world is made up of obsessive trolls. These clowns push the narrative of division in the medium of comics for quick cash and clicks. If they were not making money on YouTube, would they still be around? Doubtful. Oh, I have actually made it pretty damn clear in my earlier videos. This is the way I'm trying to make a living. But guess what? I'm not doing anymore. Making a living at this. And I would still be doing it. That's the whole thing. When you get on YouTube, you can't do it to make money. You hope to make money. And I really did set out to make this my only job. Failed miserably. Let's see. The comic community is not all political cliques and rage-filled lunatics on YouTube and Twitter. There's an actual scene that wants nothing to do with this mess these nut sniffers have propagated. When I started this article, my intention was to shine a light on the dysfunctional, obsessive nature of comics fandom. I could truly say that after being exposed to so much toxic blather for 2 years and bullshit for 15 minutes, nothing in this article talked about what people talk about. It was a bunch of insults. This wasn't two years. This was 2 minutes. And it wasn't even that much of thought. My guess, it was actually, I'm going to give you 15 minutes for how long it would have taken to write this. You did nothing but insult. If you had anything to say, it would have been said. But there was nothing. You had nothing to say about Ethan Van Sciver. You had nothing to say about Richard Myers. You had nothing to say about Yellow Flash. Nothing. Nothing to say about any of them. You insulted them. You ignorant freaking blowsoft. You truly, truly are pathetic. Because you spent all that time writing out a freaking article that said literally nothing. There is no thought. There's no insight to these channels. There is no reasoning. And trust me, if you watch 2 years just by accident, you would have found out something about the people behind these videos. You would have found something definitely about me, because I am very free with what I talk about as far as my life. Definitely something would have been said to make you truly understand why people have these opinions. If you truly watch these for freaking 2 years, you are an ignorant ass. So it says that it's been 3 months since I stopped watching all these pinheads on YouTube, and I've noticed a huge difference in my view of comics medium. I simply stopped worrying and started to enjoy reading them again. By the way, most of us, I'm pretty sure there's someone out there, but most of us actually point to things that are good. Hey, look, you know what? The Avengers, in my opinion, haven't been worthy of reading for 3 years now. But that doesn't mean there aren't good comic books out there. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go on and check out The Last Ronin from in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There are great things out there, and we like to point them out just as much as we like to talk about what we didn't like. Let's see. Oh, by the way, I apologize. I've kind of missed some of these comments and the fires and all that kind of stuff. I just got. Oh, I guess number one was cartoonist Kayfabe. Oh no, it's been 3. Okay, where I say the algorithm and YouTube channels are great at keeping you locked into the hate-filled haze of disappointment and inadequacy. They keep you in a state of anxiety that only gets worse over time, a sickness spread and fostered by Silicon Valley simps. When I stopped engaging in these algorithms that force-fed me garbage, I stopped worrying about it. And okay, there you go. He just said the same thing twice. There's article after article documenting these transgressions. Now the internet has helped shed some light on these creeps, opportunistic sycophants, and who still haunt the medium. We should tune out all the self-important online blather of washed-up egomaniac creators like Erica Larson and Rob Liefeld on Twitter. What? The medium can be driven and dictated by good art and stories, not their self-interest rhetoric and toxic nostalgia. This guy's a freaking moron. Who is this? Adam Yeater? Adam Yeater is an American artist, comic maker. Okay, Adam Yeater. Who is Adam Yeater? Oh, wow. He's still sporting. Okay. Adam Yeater Art and Print store powered by Adam Yeater Online. I'm not seeing anything beyond. Okay, what are the books that he has online on Amazon? Oh, he's done nothing. I mean, he's got his own books out, but it's not like, oh, well, I worked for years on freaking Batman. But anyway, he also has the YouTube channels here. What a freaking dumbass. I'm serious. What a dumbass. I'm sorry, but I heard about that. I figured I would go over it, but holy crap. There's people out there who believe all this crap too. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to the people, even when we first started Comicsgate, when it was Doug Ernst, myself, Captain Cummings, and Richard, the people on the other side would very rarely cross over to actually have a conversation. This guy said he did this. He did this for 2 years and not once thought to reach out and talk to any of them. And I get it. Like I said, I've kind of fallen off the map as far as all that. So I do feel a little bit like Bugs Bunny, Hey, wait, I should be on this anytime I'm going to saw Florida, just like he did in the cartoon. But they don't. That's why you cannot trust any of the articles out there written about Comicsgate. You just can't trust them because ultimately they never reached out to find a true opinion. What they do is, like I said, if I said that I didn't like Ironheart being in Iron Man comics, you hate black people. No. And I've said it before you told me I hated black people. I said she should have her own title. As a matter of fact, when they gave her own title and got it out of the hands of Brian Michael Bendis, they actually gave it to somebody who knew how to write the character. She wasn't great at it, but it was a freaking leap and bound better than freaking Brian Michael Bendis. Anyway, Slither saying, guess what? I got a fever and the only prescription is more cowbell. Couldn't leave here without that. Goodness. Tom Taylor. Yeah, he's a white savior. He's like Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor thinks you're a dumbass. So he's got to write a comic book that literally tells you that you shouldn't treat the planet like trash or you shouldn't treat other people bad just because they're not the same color. They did have politics, by the way. And I say this all the time for the moronic leftist that's watching my channel. They did have politics in the past, but they knew how to write stories. They knew how to put the story before the politics, and that's the most important. It's the most important thing. When you make the story awesome, the politics come through. It really does. But when you shove it in people's faces like Tom Taylor, that's it. It falls apart. People don't want to be yelled at. We go to comic books, especially now, especially in times like this. You turn to comic books as an escape. When I was young, I was the small guy in school. And yeah, the comic book crowd, the geek crowd, they're very accepting. It's one of the things that truly pisses me off is this whole new concept that the geek culture is somehow a culture that doesn't accept everybody. The people, the blue-haired, ignorant people who are far more welcome into the comic book hobby than they would ever make you feel, they brought the hate. They're the ones that all of a sudden said that, no, there have been no female writers. There have been no female artists. At the same time, they're saying that they went to have milkshakes and celebrate Flow Day. It's ridiculous. They tell you that there haven't been female characters in comics. At the same time, they're trying to prop up Carol Danvers, who was freaking created in the 60s. And look, I understand. I understand better than most, actually, that some characters were not treated well because of their race or their gender. Some races weren't treated well in comics in the beginning. I point to, of course, Marvel literally had a character named Whitewash. Captain Marvel owned a slave. That just drives me mad whenever I hear that. I love Spirit Comics, but I know that Ebony White, if I actually put that cover on, will get me in trouble. I actually have a history of comics. The first Black-owned comic book video made that I have been warned not to put up there. That it will be flagged. I mentioned I was going to do it, and I have had this channel flagged to the point of shadow banning that it kind of it made me gun shy. I want to put it out, and I've just gotta reconcile the fact that my channel over at Old Man Comics, I thought yesterday I actually mentioned I checked the analytics and they were low. No, I am very close to monetizing that. That's why so I haven't. I didn't want to. Flow Day totally does sound like a female thing, says Lady Hawk. I know. It's because I blanked out on her last name. But Flo was Stan Lee's right-hand man. Stanley was a decent writer, but he was a brilliant person when it came to marketing. And one of the things they decided to do, of course, is have the letters page. That's a Stan Lee invention. But what a lot of people don't know is a lot of the letters pages you read in early Marvel, that's Flo Steinberg. That's Flo Steinberg. That's her. She's writing all of she did. And that got people believing that people were sending in letters. So people sent in letters. It was very much like putting a few bucks into a cup in order to have tips thrown in. It was very much like that. And Flo Steinberg, for this toxic fandom that we are now, Stan Lee and Flo Steinberg has freaking tons to do with it. Evil Black Cat, I said a name before you did, you jack. Anyway. But and then one of the reasons why they did that is because when something happened at Marvel and the fans went, no, Marvel listened. So you get a sense of ownership over these characters. You get it. And that actually, I think, helped to save a lot of the characters. Because Stan Lee had a rule. You have to give the illusion of change without actually changing. You could change the hero throughout the story. You never change the core of the hero, and by the end of the story, the changes go back and it resets for the next. And so we do think the changes are coming, but it basically stays the same. And small changes happen, of course. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. And there have been big changes, sometimes for the better. Superman gets married to Lois Lane. I think it's a much better comic as they're married. Spider-Man or Peter Parker gets married to Mary Jane. That was awesome. Them breaking up, not so awesome. What would make a character Wonder Woman level? You mean in popularity or in strength? I guess that's strength belt, right? Marvel desperately wants to prop up Carol Danvers because they never created a Wonder Woman level character of their own. Yeah, I could see that. Well, one thing I think, now that I've connected the two, it has to come naturally. That's that little jackass. Look at that. Look what he did. But that it has to come naturally. One of the problems with what Marvel did is they forced Carol Danvers in. Oh, she's going to be the strongest. She's the best. She's the best. Here's all the powers. Doctor Strange has powers that Carol Danvers doesn't have. We're going to make her Sorcerer Supreme. Now you guys are going to love her. You're going to love her, right? You're going to love her. You should love her. You got to love her. Carol Danvers. She's the best. Wait, you don't love her? Okay, give her Galactus's powers. They try to force it on you. And that's not the way it should work. That's not the way it ever worked. They didn't force Spider-Man to be the best that Marvel has to offer. Readers said, you know what? Spider-Man's the best you have to offer. We love him. Do more Spider-Man. Oh my gosh, Captain America, he's awesome. Do more Captain America. That Thor guy, we don't really read him, but he's awesome. Do more Thor. Yeah, people will tell them, but they don't believe nowadays. No, we told you Captain Marvel, you're racist. And that's the way they are anymore. Oh my gosh, what you're doing with this character, it's horrible. Why don't you do you're racist, you're hateful, blah, blah. And they just start yelling and screaming at you instead of actually listening, which is what Stan Lee and Flo Steinberg set up. They're not honoring their own past. And I don't know. Reed and Sue getting married was a big event. It attracted not only every superhero out there, but a few super villains to boot, says Maranya. Marvel has some strong female characters, says Rhaegar. None of them are facsimiles of Wonder Woman, really, but is it necessary? They don't have to be facsimiles. I think it means like in popularity level. Sue is not a solo. She's a team character. Yeah, they do not have a big iconic female character, I guess, in the ways that DC Comics has Wonder Woman, because the big three for Marvel are Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. But that's just me. I don't know. Did you kiss up for? Okay, dedicated. Right. Anyway, there you go, guys. I've been ranting on for about an hour. So I hope you enjoyed the rant, because this is what it really was. I'm a little pissed. That I wasn't on the list. Actually, there's a whole list of guys. I mean, look, NERDROTIC, where's he? Where's Comics Division even? Just some guy should be there, right? I mean, really? Comic Perch? Thinking Critical? Seriously? They're nice guys, and they do great shows. But are they toxic? Really? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, you guys let me know if you made it this far. Let me know in the comments below. Definitely check out all the channels that guy talked about, because aside from that kayfabe guy, I do know that they've got good channels. Check them out. Yeah, except for the forced adversity guy. Well, check it out. He's an ass, but check it out, because he is exactly the opposite side of the coin that he is talking about. If you don't mind helping out the channel, Moron, you just set up the Ko-Fi link. Thank you very much to everybody who's already done that. I am trying to make a living doing this. Once again, failing massively, but there you go. Dominic saying we've had strong characters and creatives from all walks of life for decades. Yes. Damn, the first black female writer was in goddamn 40s. And once again, that wasn't a great time, but at least it's there. And they just walk all over the freaking history. The woman who saved DC Comics, granted, she almost destroyed DC Comics first, but the woman who saved the person who saved DC Comics was a woman, Jeanette Kahn. And you want to talk like around these days? Oh no, they don't have. I'm out of focus. I'm out of focus right now, guys. Let me calm down. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Once again, thank you very much for hanging out with us, with me anyway. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. You kids have a good night. And he is out.